The slide library is a place where you can extract slides from your presentations to be saved in with a file name for each slide. That way you can identify each slide by file name for a quick reference and an import from that library to be reused into your next presentation. So for example, in this presentation I've got these last 3 slides that others, and including myself, like reusing in future presentations. But it's not just about reusing, as we talked about in an earlier training video, where you can come up here, click on the new slide drop down arrow, go down to reuse slides, and be able to pull it from that one PowerPoint presentation. I mean, that's fine, but if you've got 20 different PowerPoint presentations, to be able to pull these slides in, you'd have to do it 20 times. But instead, how about if we just create a slide library that has all those popular slides into that one slide library folder, that we can stay there to do our one-stop shopping for the more popular slides and not have to reopen many different presentations through that, drop-down arrow to reuse slides. So to go ahead and extract, at least from this presentation, the 3 slides here to this library with others I'd like to extract, come up here, click on the File tab, go backstage down to Share. Because, libraries, it's about sharing. You check it out, and the good thing about this is you don't have to check it back in. It's yours to keep. So down to Share, and there you go, Publish Slides. Click on it, and then come up here, Publish Slides to a slide library or SharePoint site. A SharePoint site is basically a computer at some warehouse that has a software, SharePoint, on it that serves you, like a server, and that helps you to collaborate with others across the internet, so you have to have internet connection. In any case, I'm going to keep it simple and show you how you can publish this to your own computer or to a network on your computer to share with others. And you can read the bulleted points here, store slides in a shared location for other people to use, and then track review changes, see the latest version, receive emails when changes are made. A lot of those you can do with SharePoint here. But let's go ahead and keep it simple. Click on Publish Slides, and hey, there's all the slides here in my presentation, a total of 9. Including the last 3 that I want to extract into my library. So it says up here, select the slides you want to publish. Well, I want to do this one, 1, 2. Well, you can select all and it checks all of them. Clear all, it clears all of them, but I just want these 3 right here. And so I don't have to see the others. Well, if I got them staggered, up here, and I have to zip back and forth through all the others, go ahead and check Show Only Selected Slides. And there we go. And I'm going to uncheck that one. And uncheck it, check it again. There we go. Now it's updated. And you can see we've got for the file name, what the heck is Slide Library 12? And then Ghost Hunting Income. Okay, that's the description, but that's the title of the slides. So I like to have the title, select it, Control-C to copy it, as the file name, Control-V as in Victor to paste it. And then do that also for the description, for this one, and for Visit Us. Well, for Visit Us today, let's just say Visit us and let's have fun hunting ghosts. You can help us. In fact, if it wasn't for you and all your hauntings, we would be out of business. And we're not the type of people that are happy to be out of business, so we hope everybody's got some spook that they can show us. For your sakes, we hope not. But for us, hey, couldn't have worked out better. In any case, down below, you need to go ahead and choose a site to publish it to. Like if you have a SharePoint site, get the URL from your IT person, type it in here, and then click Publish. Of course, you'll have to have a username and password so you can put it up on the SharePoint site, or if it's another server, go ahead and type it in here. Otherwise, you can go ahead and click Browse, and it takes you right to the My Slide Libraries, which that's fine. You don't have to use that. You can go to the desktop, and we can create a new folder and call it My Libraries, and then go ahead and hit Enter, and then let's select it, My Libraries on the desktop, and then click Publish, and well, that's it. We're done. Close out. Open up some more PowerPoint presentations that you want to be able to extract slides to the slide library, which is right here, My Libraries. Click and drag. Thank you. Double click, and there you go. There's the name of the file, so I can identify them each now within the folder here. Ghost Hunting Income, Paranormal Investigation, Visit Us, Let's Have Fun. Oh, that's fabulous. So let me close out, extract more, and it builds up. You get a lot of, for each slide, a separate file. So when I'm ready and I open up PowerPoint again, building a presentation from scratch, double click. I can come up here, click on the new slide drop down arrow, and again we covered this in an earlier training video, reusing slides. This is where we're going to go. Click on it, and you can come over here, and you can open a slide library, which it takes you to that folder, but well, You can select it because it's pointing as a shortcut. Whenever you create a slide library, it stuffs the shortcut into the My Slide libraries under the PowerPoint folder, where you can click on the arrow back here and know that it's under Microsoft, the roaming app data, the trainer, as I'm logged in under the users from the C drive. Whew, what an address. Or let me just click on the folder and then hit the home key on the keyboard. There you go, the C drive users training app data roaming Microsoft. That's the address to get to this here. In any case, you could select it and click select, but it's going to say choose an existing site library, so that's not going to work for me. And it hasn't worked for me. So instead, what I like using is just coming over here and clicking on the browse drop-down arrow and browse file. And it's in my libraries, desktop, double click, and hey, there we go. There's all of them. So, I can go ahead and find one that I like and select it. Let's do the last one, click on open. And yeah, it looks good. So I can go ahead and right click on it, insert the slide. And when I say insert all slides, well, it doesn't insert all of them, just this one because there's no more here. And notice how it just brought it over without the theme. Well, let's not do that and hit undo because I'd like to include the theme. So let's right click. And we can apply the themes if you want to do it that way as well. Apply themes to all slides. And then I can go ahead and insert it, or let me go ahead and hit undo. And let's come down here and say we want to keep the source formatting. Before I go ahead and right click on it, then insert it, so that way I can keep, well, the theme and the formatting from that single slide file into my presentation here. Fabulous. And click on browse again, and choose another one. Ghost Hunting Income, double click. And then keep the source formatting, insert it, great, and then click and drag, move it around, and one-stop shopping, my little folder for all the slides, each having their own file name per slide. Microsoft has a free service called the OneDrive, and the OneDrive is a server that you can upload your documents to and access them anywhere there's internet connection. You can even collaborate with others and share your files on the OneDrive, and even have everybody working on one file at the same time. Whoa, major collaboration. Sounds pretty cool. So to be able to do that, we need to upload, and in this example, my presentation to the OneDrive. To do that, just come up here, click on File, go backstage down to Save As, and there's OneDrive, select it. And here's a graphical representation of the OneDrive. Well, you don't want to have Microsoft say, hey, we got a computer that's known as a server that serves you, that's stuffed away in some warehouse that we've got. It's better if you got something that's mystical, magical. It's a cloud. It goes somewhere. We just don't know where. Well, I really don't. I don't know where their Microsoft warehouse is for the server that when we connect to it, the OneDrive, that allows me to upload my presentation to. In any case, whether it's from your desktop, your tablet, your laptop, you can access that, or anybody else if you allow them to and give them permissions. So to be able to save this to the OneDrive, you got to sign in. You got to sign up for a Microsoft account. Now, if you don't have an account, then, well, you can click on Learn More, but that doesn't make sense. Look, it has a redirect from SkyDrive. It used to be called SkyDrive before OneDrive. In any case, that's geeky stuff. It took me to Microsoft.com. And I'm like, why do I want to be here? It's got nothing to do with the OneDrive, at least not directly. Let me close out, although I can learn more about Microsoft. In any case, let's go ahead and click on Sign Up. That makes more sense because, hey, there we go, OneDrive.live.com. I usually type in OneDrive.com and it redirects to OneDrive.live.com in any case. We can either come up here and sign in if we have a Microsoft account, but since we don't, in this example, and you can see up here, save your files and photos to OneDrive and get them from any device anywhere. Cool. You can see the plans if you want to pay a monthly fee, or if you want to go with the basics and just sign up for free. Great. Click on Sign Up for Free. And then you can create a Microsoft account here, or if it's for business, see plans and pricing. So let's go ahead and create a Microsoft account. Click. And type in an email address and a password, and then go ahead and make sure you understand the Microsoft Services Agreement, privacy and cookie statements. And if you like that, you're good to go. Great. Now, you don't have to have like an email address. You can use a phone number instead, as it says here. And if you don't have an email address and you want Microsoft to create one for you, then go ahead and click on Get a New Email Address, and then there you go. You got the extension at Outlook.com, so type in like first name or your pet's name, whatever. Just make sure that it's not being used, and if it is, it'll tell you. You can do Outlook.com or click on the drop-down arrow and select Hotmail.com. enter an email address. Okay, well, at Hotmail, type in something. In any case, go ahead and if you're okay with everything, create a Microsoft account. When you're done, let's go ahead and close out of here. Come back and click on Sign In. And then type in that, well, email, phone number, or Skype, whatever you use to sign up with your Microsoft account. Mine's kkvtpro@live.com. I'm going to hit the Enter key on the keyboard and it says, okay, what's the password? And then hit Enter on the keyboard and there we go. Well, a couple of things that's freaking out right now. First of all, up at the top, I'm now logged in and I get all these lines that go from one point to another. Just basically, I'm now connected to the internet with PowerPoint, the application, part of the Borg now. That's what it reminds me of. In any case, down below, we don't want to save it to the PC. It used to be on the OneDrive. Well, it flashed off of it. Let's go back to the OneDrive. And then over to the right, I've got the OneDrive folder. Click on it, opens it up, and it accesses the OneDrive. And on the OneDrive, I've got an attachments folder and a documents folder. So if I want to go ahead and save it inside the documents folder, I'll go ahead and select it and click on Open. And then click Save, but before I do that, you can see I don't have any other PowerPoint files within the documents here. And so when I click Save, it's going to be added to what other documents? Let me do this. Let me go ahead and click Cancel and access the OneDrive directly, by opening up Internet Explorer and coming up here and typing in there we go, OneDrive.com, hit Enter. It does a redirect to OneDrive.live.com and then click Sign In. And then I got my kkvtpro@live.com. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to show you that documents folder, I do have documents in there. It's just that I don't have any PowerPoint presentations. So I want you to get a feel of what you're going to be saving it to before we actually save it. So click Next, and then the password. Then hit Enter on the keyboard. And here's the OneDrive. Remember those two folders that we could save it as an attachment or into the Documents folder? Well, there we go. Let's go ahead and click on Documents, that tile there, and hey, I got 4. I have 2 Excel workbooks and 2 Word documents, but I have no PowerPoint presentations. So I can go ahead and save it to that folder, in which case it'll put it right here. Or, as it says, if you're already connected through the internet, drag files here to upload. Well, I won't do that here. Let me just minimize this down to the taskbar so I can see. And let's click on the OneDrive back in the PowerPoint program. And there you go, Attachments and Documents. Go ahead and double click on Documents and then click Save. And then once you have it saved to it and you're still in the same session, you haven't closed out, well, in the upper left-hand corner, not only do you get a Save button, but it's also a refresh, meaning that if anybody else is working on it at the same time, that when you make your changes, you click Save, but it also refreshes and it brings in those updates from changes that others have made. That is, again, if they're working on it at the same time. We just barely uploaded it, so I doubt it. In any case, let's go ahead and make one change. Let's just take out the A in annual meeting, come up here, click Save, and call it good. Go ahead and close out. Come down below on the taskbar, restore the window, and hey, it's right there. It uploaded it. Great. And then to go ahead and see it, just click on it. Opens up a new tab, so we've got our OneDrive still sitting here, right? But it opens up the new one in, well, PowerPoint Online. Right now, it just gives us the read-only option, and you can see the A in annual meeting is missing. And so you can go ahead and just do a quick view through it. Come over here, start a slideshow. In any case, you get the option up here to edit the presentation. Click on the drop-down arrow, and if you have PowerPoint installed on your computer, you can use the full functionality, but if you don't, and you're just using a free service here, well, you can make quick changes, but not with full functionality by editing this in the browser. So if I go ahead and click on it, give it a second while it opens it up in the browser. And there we go. Let me click and type in A, and that's it. You don't have to click Save because there's no Save button. When we edit it in the browser, it does automatic saves for us, so we're good. And then if I want to go back and edit this back into the PowerPoint program installed on my desktop to get the full functionality and all the features that come with PowerPoint and not just limited features here in the browser, then you have to close out here and then come back. And then you can go ahead and click on it. And then click on Edit Presentation in PowerPoint. It says, do you trust this? Of course I do. Let's allow it. And there we go. So any changes I make, and I come up here and click on the Save button that also has those two arrows turning in on each other. If somebody else is working on it from the OneDrive, it'll pull in those changes as well. Well, let me come up here and close out of it. And we can return to Microsoft PowerPoint Online or try launching this again if it failed. Let's return. Sometimes when I open it up in PowerPoint on my desktop, it hasn't minimized down to the taskbar, so you'd think it didn't open. Just click on that button to restore it and then you'll have access to it. And while I'm in here, I could come up here and share this with somebody else. Let's go ahead and click on Share, see what options we get. Okay, we get quite a bit here. So first of all, you can invite people by sending them an email, add a quick note saying, hey, take a look at this, make changes that you feel that are necessary and help me out. And before you send it off, you can choose whether you want the recipients to edit it or only view it. Now with either one, down below, you can say that recipients don't need a Microsoft account to be able to view it or edit it, or you can say they do need to sign in with the Microsoft account. And that's nice because if they sign in, it'll actually have their name in the upper right-hand corner that says, okay, Carrie's logged in, she's making changes. But if you don't allow it, then it'll say guest. So if you got 4 or 5 people working on it and you didn't allow them to sign in, they can sign if they want, but if they don't, then you just get a bunch of people with the name guest next to their little flags here. And that doesn't help out because, when they're making changes, who's the guest? I'd like to know who's working on it. So in any case, I would require that they need to sign in with the Microsoft account. But if you know that they don't have one, they don't want to sign up for one, or it's too much of a hassle, just say no. And then when you send it off to them, if they send it off to anybody else, well, they'll have access to the same link and anybody else can log in. So you want to keep that in mind. Now you can do it that way or come up here and click on Get a Link. And so before you click on Create a Link, you can say this link will allow them to edit it or just view it only. I'll do View Only and click on Create Link. There's the link. Go ahead and come up here, copy it, and paste it in an email, send it off to somebody. You can create additional links. Well, this one's view only. You could have another link that's for editing. So when you send it off, view only to 5 people and edit to another 5 people. If those 5 people send it off and share it with those who only have view only, well, that's going to be a mess because then they'll be able to edit it. So you can't keep track of the links, can you? Well, if you can, great, but if you can't trust the person that you send it to and they send it off to somebody else, so that's not going to be too helpful. And as you can see over here, it's shared with anyone with this view link. Let me go ahead and click Close. And that's what you get when you're actually in the application online here, because if you close out and you come over here and you want to be able to share it, well, first of all, when you hover over it, you get this little circle to check. When you check it, you can hover over another one, check that one. Then you get this toolbar up at the top that you can, with those 2 that are selected, download them, delete them, move them to, well, you get the additional button to copy to another folder. Or you can go ahead, well, when you click off it, clears them. Go ahead and select them. Come up here and click on Share so you can share the selected items with other people. Select Share. And you don't get as many options here. It's quite different. And the default option is that they don't need, if you do it this way, a Microsoft account to be able to view or make changes, whatever you decide to make your settings, your permissions for here. Let me close out. I don't want to share both of them. Let me go ahead and uncheck that one. You can do it that way. Let me uncheck that one. Or you can right-click on it. And there you go. You get a list of options. And if I check another one, I've got 2, and I right-click on one, then my options are limited because now it's seeing that, hey, you're right-clicking on both of us, even though I can't right-click on both at the same time. It sees the other one that's selected, so we get a different shortcut menu to share, download, delete, move, or copy to. Let me unselect that and deselect that one and just right-click and say Share. And you can see up at the top, anyone with this link can view this item. You can click on it, collapses it, and you can click on it to expand it to get more details. So not only view, but allow editing, so anyone with this link can edit this item. The set the expiration date, that's not a freebie, because when you try to check it, it says, oh, you got to go premium if you want this. Oh, all right, I'm not going to go premium. In any case, if you have the option and you checked it because you're paying a monthly fee and you don't get it popped up, well then go ahead and set an expiration date. So after, well, so many days, they can no longer access the file. And then down below, you can get a link, generate a link that allows them to edit, as we have it checked here, then copy, paste it, send it off in an email, or just, hey, do it right here, click on email. Type in their name, and I'll do it here. We'll do KF. And then after I type in her email address, come down below and maybe a short message. Please review and make any necessary changes. Then just click share. And that's it. By default, you don't get the option to say you have to log in with your Microsoft account. So when she gets this and she logs in, you'll see that if I'm working on this presentation at the same time, I'll just see guest. So let's go ahead and have her when she gets the email, which by the way, when she gets it, it'll have in the title, I shared, and then the title of the file here, OneDrive and co-author with you in OneDrive. Oh, that's nice. And she gets a button that she can go ahead and click on to access it. And when she clicks on it, she doesn't have to sign in with her Microsoft account. And when she opens it up, she gets the option to either look at it, and then if she wants to edit it, because we gave her the option to edit it, she can go ahead and click on Edit in Browser. And now she's logged in. Let's go ahead and click on it to open it up. And let me go ahead and edit the presentation in browser, the same thing that she's doing right now. And let's take a look and see what pops up. Well, there we go. Guest is also editing. So that's not helpful if I have 4 or 5 other people that I invited that it's not forcing them to log on using their Microsoft account, because typically when you sign up with the Microsoft account, you'll type in your real name. But you could have a Microsoft account that has a bunch of silly names in any case. If you have your real name, I've got a bunch of people that are viewing this and working on it at the same time, then I can say, okay, great, Carrie, not guest. As you can see over here in the thumbnail preview is on slide 1. Now when she goes down to slide 2 and tries to work on that, then this will update and boom, there she is on slide 2 making changes there. I'll have her go back to slide 1 and make a change. Like, let's say, how about if we ask her to delete the A in annual so you can see what it looks like in real time. So she just deleted it, and hey, there we go. And you can see she's got that little guest is working on this part right here. So it's highlighting which text box she actually is clicked in and making changes to. And if I want to turn this around and type in uppercase A, then it updates on her end just as fast, and that's cool. And then once I'm done, let me go ahead and click outside of it, because when I'm inside of it, I don't get this option right here, guest is also editing, and also this share option. So when I click on share, not only can I share it, but it also tells me that Carrie is one that I'm sharing with, and the only one I'm sharing with it right now that I can click on can edit to come over here and change that from can edit to view only, in which case you can't make any changes, or hey, stop sharing altogether. That's pretty mean. Well, I won't do that right now, but what that does is it prevents her when she tries to click save. It says you can't do this because you're no longer part of the Sharesy team. You can't make changes. And like I said, you can go ahead and edit this in the browser. Let me go ahead and close out of it, go back to the OneDrive, then come down here, click on it again to open it back up to give me that option to edit in browser, or let me click on Edit Presentation, edit in PowerPoint with full functionality with all the features that are available in PowerPoint. Click on it. Allow Microsoft to access and download this to my computer here. There you go. Guest is editing this document. Oh, that's fun. In any case, I can click on the Share tab here. There it is, the guest, which is ironic because I'm sharing it with Carrie, so is it her? Well, like I said, I didn't require her to be able to sign in under her name. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and have her sign in under her name, and let's see if it updates it here. And also you need to know is that when that person doesn't sign in to the Microsoft account, when you're sharing it with them, they can only edit your file in the browser. They can't download it to their computer to make changes or edits to it. So now that she's logged in, she gets the option to not only edit the presentation in browser, but with full functionality down to her desktop if she has Microsoft PowerPoint installed on her computer, which she does. So let's go ahead and have her edit in full PowerPoint and then give it a second. And you can see the guest is gone now. It updates, and there we go. Carrie Heffernan is editing this document. Oh, that's fabulous. Now we don't have guest. What is guest? In any case, you can invite more people, whether they can edit or view only, and you don't get another option to go ahead and say, look, in order to edit this file, they have to log in with their Microsoft account. So I like that option by going into the application, as we saw earlier, and saying, look, they have to log in with their Microsoft account. In any case, let's go ahead and close out of here. And let's have Carrie make some changes. We'll just do something simple again, delete the A in annual meeting. And then what she needs to do is, because it's not in the browser, it's not automatic. Well, I'm not in the browser either. It's on my desktop. Is that in order to see the changes made, I have to come up here and click on Save this document, refresh it with updates made by other authors. And you can see down below on the status bar, updates are available. So yes, she's made changes to it. And it says this document has been updated by another author. Click to save and refresh this document. Click on it, refresh, and the A is gone. And it also disappears because, well, there's no more changes, at least not at the moment. So if I want to go ahead and take care of this and say, no, I really like the A, then go ahead and come up here and click Save. And you can see down below on the status bar, if you rewind the video, it says uploading to the OneDrive or updating to. And then she has to, in order to see the changes, well, she'll look down below on her status bar and see updates available, in which case she can click on it and be able to refresh it and see that the A is now back. And let's go ahead and close out of here. And if you had a problem launching PowerPoint, well, the OneDrive file into your PowerPoint program on your computer, well, go ahead and try it again. I found that sometimes it'll be minimized down to the taskbar, in which case just click on it and it restores it. Let me go ahead and return to Microsoft Online PowerPoint. We can come up here, click on Share, go to Carrie, and say, look, we're done here. Let's stop sharing. You can't make any more changes. So it's done. She gets wiped off the map. Let's go ahead and close out. And if you want, let me go ahead and close out of here. You can come back here if you're like, oh, do I really have to click on it to open it up to find out who I'm sharing this file with? No, you can check that little box in the upper right hand corner and then come up here and click on that little information circle, opens it up, and down, well, besides the stats that you get, like the information when it was modified, who'd added it, and date created, you get the manage access, and it would have Carrie here, but since I stopped sharing there, it removed her. So with Carrie here, you can also click on to stop sharing or change it to view only. And also you can go ahead and say, well, anybody with this link can view it. No, let's go ahead and close out. Then it says if you want to share this item again, you need to create a new link. Oops, maybe not. Or you can go ahead and remove the link. I'll click cancel, leave it as such, and close out. And then click on the I to collapse that information task pane. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what it looks like when somebody else sends you an invite to view one of their documents shared from the OneDrive. So let's open up my email here, Outlook 2016, click on it. There we go, Carrie Heffernan, shared Carrie's OneDrive co-author. Well, let's go ahead and double click to open it up. Oh, there she is, and we got her mug there. In any case, I shared Carrie's OneDrive with you in OneDrive. And well, we can left click and download the pictures. Don't do that if you don't trust this. I would put it to the junk email folder. That way it can disable this so you don't accidentally download if it's something that shouldn't be downloaded, a virus. In any case, you can watch my Outlook training videos on how to handle your emails. So down below she says, please review and make any changes you feel would be totally tinsel. And go ahead and click view in OneDrive. Click on it. And I didn't have to sign in, although I am signed in. Let me go ahead and sign out here and show you that I don't have to be signed in to access this because she didn't set that up that I had to. Otherwise, it wouldn't show me this without signing in. So there we go. That's what it looks like. You can edit in the browser, and that's all I get. I cannot edit this on my computer until I signed in. So if I'm like, oh, nuts, let's go ahead and close out of here. And let me close out of my OneDrive area. Let's go ahead and click on it again. And if I want to be able to edit what she has on her OneDrive online rather than in the browser, then I have to sign in. Click on sign in. Hit the enter key to advance and then the password. Hit enter. There we go. So I'm signed in, right? So instead of just editing in the browser, I get, hey, I get an additional option to use the full functionality of Microsoft PowerPoint. The Present Online feature allows you to broadcast a presentation in real time to other users on the web, and those other users do not need the PowerPoint program to view your presentation. But in order for you to put this on the web, if you want to do it through Microsoft services, you got to sign up for a Microsoft account, which we covered in the previous training video, the co-author OneDrive. Go ahead and watch the first couple of minutes of that so you can learn how to sign up for a Microsoft account. Then once you've done that, then come with me, good neighbor. We're going to put this presentation up on the web for everybody else to see. And click on File to go backstage. Down to Sharesy Wheresy, click on Share. And there you go, Present Online. Select that, and here you go. Present through Office Presentation Service. No setup required. A link is created to share with people. Anyone using the link can see the slideshow. So if you send it off to somebody and it's top secret, you want to make sure that they don't send it off to anybody else, otherwise it won't be secret anymore. But hey, if you're selling something, why not? Share with everybody. And then the presentation will be made available for download. So you need a Microsoft account, which we covered in the previous training video. By clicking on Present Online, you agree to the following terms. So you may want to read those. Well, I recommend it so I can get off the hook in case if you don't agree. And then you can enable remote viewers to download the presentation if you want them to have a copy of it. So go ahead and check it. I'm going to leave it here and then click on Present Online. Okay, now that account, Microsoft account that you signed up for, go ahead and type in your, email address, phone number, or whatever you use to sign up for this Microsoft account. Hit the Enter key on the keyboard, password, radio, then hit Enter. That's it. You got a link here. You can go ahead and copy the link, paste it somewhere, like in an email, or better yet, send it in an email. So click on Send it in an email. Opens up Microsoft Outlook 2016. If you don't know anything about it, then hey, I recommend that you watch my training videos on it. And so let's go ahead and say we want to send it off to Kay. Oh, there we go, Kay, and it brings up the rest of it. Kay Heffernan at videotrainingpro.com. It remembers Carrie's email because I sent her emails previously. Just hit the Tab key and it populates. Here's the subject, the generic default. View my online presentation. And you can, of course, amend that. Please, several exclamation points. And then down below, click this link to view my online presentation. And it's a huge link. And then if you want to add more to it in the body of the message, go ahead and type in whatever you want. Just, hit Enter a couple of times and there we go. It solidifies the link. And then type in, please, I beg you. That sounds a bit too much. Please is probably good enough. There we go. And then go ahead and click Send. Now when you send it off in Microsoft Outlook 2016, it doesn't go out. It just sits in the Out box until you actually open up the program. So if I click on the Start button, come up to Outlook 2016, click, and it sits in the Out box. It's right, as soon as I open up the program, it'll send it. But it won't send it. It sits in the Out box this whole time. So you want to make sure that if you are sending it, and it's a reminder here, isn't that fun? Hey, you get reminders. It's her birthday, 39 weeks past due. Oh boy, she's not going to like that. Let's go ahead and minimize that down to the taskbar. And so again, keep that in mind if you use Microsoft Outlook 2016, you click Send, it sits in the Outbox, open up the program, and just in a matter of seconds, it sends it off. If it doesn't, well, then come up here on the Quick Access toolbar and click on Send so you can send it off. Well, it's also Receive. It acts as a double agent, sends off email, but also receives anything that's sitting out on the server that has been sent to you that's awaiting you to receive it. And then in addition to Outlook here, besides sending and receiving emails, you also have a calendar. Well, you can get a pop-up, a preview, or select it and get more details. Ooh, that's fancy. Halloween and all these different holidays. And then you got contacts. You can keep track of people if you got people to work with and keep track of. And there's all the information of people I keep track of. And then you can also set task reminders, as you just saw a little pop-up right here that reminds you, gives you a bong. And you can, snooze it, go to sleep on that task for 5 minutes or more. In any case, you can watch my training videos on Outlook 2016. Otherwise, it sent it off. Carrie now has it. Let me close out of it. Back to it. And then here we go. When you're ready, and everybody you know has a copy of the link, and I guess I could have put in the times in the email saying, okay, we're going to start this in 10 minutes, or just say immediately. They'll click on the link, and they'll have a blank picture until I click on Start Presentation. When I click on Start, there we go. There's my presentation for everybody to see. They're seeing it exactly as you're seeing it here. So I left click to go to the next slide. P for previous. Hey, it works, The navigation options. And then I can right click and do my, let's see, I can go to black screen and freak everybody out going, hey, what happened? Hit the B key again. In any case, let's click on it so we can get to the end of the show. Click on again to exit. Now, when I exit out of it, they're just going to see the last slide in the presentation, this one, until I actually end the presentation. They don't see anything else here. So you see up here, the Home tab, it used to be first, now it's second because we're still in presenting online mode. So click on that tab, and until we come over here and end the presentation, well, they won't know. They'll see the last slide and they won't know if that's the very last slide. And I could start over again and taunt them. Let's go from the beginning. Here we go again. In any case, let me hit the escape key. And when I'm done, let's click on End Online Presentation. Everyone viewing this online presentation will be disconnected if you continued. Do you really want to end this? Of course I do. And it's done. Well, except it's got me connected now because previously I wasn't connected, so I can click on Me and go down to Account Settings and say Sign Out, and then it freaks out saying, hey, you lose all your custom settings. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not too eager to be connected constantly to Microsoft servers out there, but hey, that's just the way I roll. Let's go ahead and click back. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like when somebody sends you an invite. So I'm going to have Carrie go ahead and send me one. Okay, Carrie said that she sent it off, so let's go ahead and check it out. Let's click on the Start button, open up Outlook 2016, and wait for it. There we go, view my online presentation. That's just the generic subject. She could have changed it if she wanted to, but she didn't. Double click. And there's the link. Let's go ahead and click and take again. Oh, wait a second. Presentation begins in 5 minutes. All right. Well, there's that pop-up again reminding me of her birthday. Hey, just in several more weeks, it'll be her birthday again. I'll try then. In any case, let's wait 5 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Let's go ahead and click on it. Waiting for the presentation to begin. Oh, that's nice. So I'm just waiting for her to click on the Start Presentation. When she clicks on Start, she just did it. And I can just sit here and wait until she goes through everything. And then when she's done, cool, she's done. She's ended the presentation, but I just get the last slide. Unless she wants to start all over again and say, okay, click on from the beginning, and then it starts from the beginning. See, there's no way of me knowing that that was actually the last slide, but because we saw that there's only 3 slides in the same presentation that she's using, that we were using here to show her. In any case, when she's done, let me go ahead and have her hit the escape key and then click End Online Presentation. And then end it, and then it has ended. And if it was available for download, I could have clicked on it, but apparently she doesn't want me to have a copy of it. Oh well. Here I'm going to show you how you can convert your presentation into a video file. That includes narration and timings. So if you recorded your voice on each slide and you have it timed to advanced after you're done gabbing, like on slide 1 to slide 2 and so on, then with that video file, you can email it or put it on the web and allow everyone to see it without you actually having to be there in person. I got a total of 4 slides. So let's go ahead and convert it into a video. Come up here, click on the File tab, go backstage down to Export, and then come up here and click on Create Video. And here we go, the first option. Click on it and you can get high def, which is your largest file size here, or medium size, or not so much. In any case, let's go with full high def, 1080p, select it. Don't use recorded timings and narrations. Well, I don't have any, but if I did, I could click on the drop down arrow and use them. Or I can start from, well, right now and record timing and narrations and also preview them. And then once I have that set up, then I can come back here and go ahead and select use recorded timing and narrations. So let me click off and say, well, I can't use what I don't have. So the only option I get is don't use it. And then down below, well, think of it this way. If you don't have any recorded timings for each slide, you have to set up a timing for your slides because, well, let's put it this way. I got 4 slides. If I don't set up a timing for each slide, then I'll be perpetually stuck on slide 1 throughout the entire video because it would never advance. So I got to put some timing on each slide, and that's why it's asking us right here to set the timing for it. And I'm going to set it to 1 second. Now you may think to yourself, okay, so on a couple of slides, I've got a lot of text that they need to read. Don't forget that they do have the pause button. So I would set it to maybe just a few, 3 seconds, but well, to keep it short, I'll set it for 1 to show you that it does work, but maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then remind them that they do have the pause button. So when they get to a slide that has a lot of text or they want to analyze it more, push pause. So with that set up, let's create our video, click on it, Opens up the Save As window and allows us to save it as an MP4 or the Windows Media Video file format. Let's do MP4. Convert to video, you can change the name if you want, that's fine. I'm going to save it to my desktop and then click Save, and then down below on the status bar it says Creating Video, Convert to Video MP4. Okay, now it's done. Let's minimize that down to the taskbar, and it's over here. There we go. Give it to somebody, put it on the web, upload it, and you can see the length is 5 seconds. Double click. And here we go. Oh, what's going on? Well, remember, you got to pause it. In any case, 1 second is too fast, but you get the idea. 3 or 4 seconds ought to give somebody enough time to come down here and pause it. I don't have much to read on this slide, so we can continue, and then, a lot on that, but great. Now I don't have to be there in person. I can just send off my video or go ahead and upload it and send a link to everybody that it's on the web. The package presentation feature allows you to copy one or more presentations along with their linked files and or embedded fonts into a folder or onto a CD. And that can be delivered for most computers even if that computer doesn't have the necessary fonts or components installed, including the actual PowerPoint program. Now that's pretty huge. If they don't have PowerPoint, they can still view it. Now about the other two, like the necessary fonts. So if I've got a font that I'm using in my presentation that's proprietary to this computer and I send it off to somebody else, they don't have it, it'll try to find a substitute, in which case it may not look as pretty. So it'll include my fonts into the package. And then as far as like, well, let me just go ahead and throw all the presentations that I want onto a CD myself. Well, within those presentations, if you have links that go to other files on your computer, documents, other PowerPoint presentations, and so on, you'll have to grab those. But with the package presentation, it automatically grabs those and bundles them in to, well, that package. So to go ahead and to package this presentation, or in today's terms, let's bag it, man. To bag the presentation, come up here, click on the File tab, go backstage, and go down to Export. And there you go, Package Presentation for CD. Now, you can copy it onto the CD, or you can put it into a folder and put it on a thumb drive, or go ahead and zip it and throw it up on the web. In any case, let's go ahead and select that. And then over to the right, it pretty much says what I just said. This package includes linked or embedded items such as videos, sounds, and fonts, and any other files added to the package, or any additional presentations besides the one that I'm going to be grabbing right now. The package presentation, the name of it, I know it's original. In any case, let's go ahead and click on Package for CD, and you can see the name of the CD is Presentation CD. Okay, that's too generic. Let's call it something spiffy because, hey, everything we do here at Dreamforce is spiffy. And then the files to be copied, I've just got one. Well, whatever presentation you're in, when you package for CD, it includes that presentation. See, it's the same name, Package Presentation Package. If you want to include more presentations, then click on Add, find them, and then open them up into here and add as many as you'd like. Well, that can fit onto a CD here, which might be quite a bit depending upon if you have a lot of videos that pick up a lot of the space. In any case, after you add enough, or if you want to remove it, select it, click Remove, and you can go ahead and reorder them. You got the up and down arrow if you add more than just one. You also have some options. Click on it, and included with your files here is if you want linked files. In other words, I got a link here that goes to a document on my desktop. Automatically will pull that into the package. Cool. If I don't want to include it because it's top secret and I don't want that in here, uncheck it. And then embedded true type fonts. Well, I've got a spiffy font that I use that I don't think anybody else has, so let's embed that so we don't get a substitute for it, something that's not as pretty. And then enhanced security, you can have a password to open each presentation or to modify, or both, where they have to have a password to open it. Once they open it, if they want to make any changes to it, then they got to have a second password. In any case, your flavor. Let's just do one to open, PASS, and keep it simple. And then inspect presentation for inappropriate or private information. Now, we'll talk about this in another training video, the document inspector, where it's going to inspect your presentation for things like comments, maybe the name of the author of the presentation. If you don't want to include your comments, instead of you going through the entire presentation and deleting them, you can go ahead and inspect it, and then once it finds it, in a single click, remove it all. And also you, as the author, any other personal or private information. So let's go ahead and check that. And like I said, I'll cover that in a later training video, the document inspector. Let's go ahead and click Okie dokie. And then we need to re-enter in the password to open, PASS, hit enter, and that's it. If you're good to go and everything looks grizzly, come down here and you can copy it to a folder. I'm going to do it on my desktop or copy it right to the CD. Let's do it into a folder on my desktop. Click on it. And everything we do here is spiffy, so that's good. The folder name, the locations, the desktop, and then open folder when complete. Okay, sounds good. Click Okie dokie. And it says you chose to package all linked files in your presentation, so PowerPoint will copy the linked files to your computer. You should include linked files in your package only if you trust me. Well, I trust me. Click yes, include it. And then the document inspector opens up and it wants to inspect for comments. Or you can uncheck it and say don't inspect for comments, meaning that if there are comments, leave them. Well, it doesn't matter even if you check it and you say inspect, click on inspect, and it found some. It didn't, but if it did, you get the option to remove it. So there's a second layer of security. It inspects it, looks for it. That's okay. If it finds it, all right. What do you want to do next? Like down below, it found some information in the document properties, including my name. Well, I think it's my name as the author. So I can go ahead and say remove all, and it's gone. So there's no way to trace me back to this presentation in case if it's not up to everybody's standards. In any case, let's go ahead and we can re-inspect it or click close. Hey, there we go. Opened up my spiffy folder on my desktop. Okay, we got the, let me click behind it because I got to close out of here and close out of. After I close out of there, it looks like it wants to open up the presentation with the password. Let me click cancel because I want to close out of the original presentation and just come here to the spiffy folder. Well, it's on my desktop that's opened. To open up the package presentation, double click. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and type in the password so we can access it. Hit enter, and there we go. Now once I open it, if I want to remove the password, which I'll talk about how to password protect and remove it in a later training video, but hey, we're here, right? Just come up here, click on the File tab, go backstage, Info selected by default. There you go. Protect presentation, a password is required to open this. Just go ahead and click on the drop-down arrow, and where it says encrypt with password, click on it to deselect it, and it says okay. Do you want a password? No. Delete what's there, click okie dokie, and it disappears. Great. Just be sure that when you hit back, you save your work. So it saves that you actually remove the password from this presentation. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and close out and we'll save it. Okay, because it's saving it, it's not going to embed some font. Oh, all right, that's okay. Has some font issues with me on my computer. It may be the PowerPoint program or something else I got going on. Let me close out. Now, when somebody tries to open up the PowerPoint program, and you can see the extension .pptx, well, you probably can't see it because Windows doesn't like showing you the extensions, because if you change that, delete it, this file no longer will be able to open up in the appropriate program. So the extension tells the operating system what program to open up this file in. In any case, you can watch my Windows training video on extensions if you want to be able to see it, or if you got a file that you're trying to open up that says, hey, we don't know what program to open this up in. I go over that. In any case, if they can't open this up here, tell them to go into the presentation package folder, which contains, well, the things that, if there was anything like documents that we had linked before we packaged it, would be included in here. Double click, and I didn't have any. In any case, let me maximize this. Tell them to go to the presentation package here, the big E for Internet Explorer, and double click. And they can download the viewer so they can view it on their computer. Oh, that's spiffy that they can download it. Okay, punny. Let me go ahead and close out of here and close out of that. If you want to be able to share your presentation into a printable file format or on a format that preserves the formatting of the presentation, that might not be available on somebody else's computer, or they just don't have PowerPoint installed at all, then to go ahead and publish this, we've got two options that I want to show you. Come up here, click on the File tab, go down to Export, and we got Create PDF/XPS document. Select it, and you can see it preserves the layout, formatting, fonts, and images. Content can't be easily changed, and free viewers are available on the web. So PDF is Adobe Acrobat, XPS is Microsoft's. So go ahead and click on it, and it gives you the option. The default is PDF. You can change that and say, let's do Microsoft's Document XPS. Well, your flavor. I'll do PDF. So on my desktop, go ahead and click on Publish. And there we go, opens up in PDF here, and if it doesn't open up for you, then go ahead and you can go to adobe.com and download their free PDF viewer here. You can see it's Adobe Acrobat Pro that we got installed, but In any case, the reader comes free. I've got the Pro version. And so you can go ahead and let's click on the drop down arrow to go slide by slide. Yay! Let's go ahead and close out. And if we want to do it again, we can click on File, go down to Export, and then see what it looks like when we export this to XPS document. Select it, create, change it to XPS document. Go ahead and publish it. Give it a second, opens it up, and there's Microsoft's XPS viewer. And then to go ahead and go from one slide to the next, down at the bottom, click on next page, and I can't see quite the slide entirely unless I click and drag. There we go. And go one page, and then go down again, and then back up. Cool. Then close out of here. It's on the desktop. There's my original presentation. Here's the XPS viewer with the extension .xps, and then here's the PDF file format. So you can go ahead and email those off to anybody. The document properties contains information that helps identify or describe the file. And every presentation has it. Just come up here, click on the File tab, go backstage. Info selected by default. Just come over here and there's your properties, like the size of the file, number of slides, any hidden slides, the title, tags. You can change any of these. And the tags are alternate keywords that you want to be able to search this file for. So for example, if in the file I don't have the keyword spiffy, but I want this file to be found by that keyword, then type in the alternate keyword in the tags here. And then you can use the delimiter comma, space, and type in additional keywords, fancy, cool, hit enter. There you go. So when I do searches, and even though these tags or keywords are not in the actual presentation, because I don't want those to be showing up in the presentation for maybe one reason or another, it'll find this file and pull it up if I search for spiffy, fancy, or cool. And then how you want to categorize it, last modified, last printed, the author. Ooh, that's me. Now, how did it know the author? Well, as you recall in my earlier training video, you want to set up the username and initials. So when you author this, it pulls your name in there, or when you insert comments, it adds your initials. And then you can come down here and click on Show All Properties, and it expands and shows us a bit more. And then we can scroll back up and click on the Properties drop-down arrow to Advanced Properties to see more. Let's go to the General tab, and you get pretty much the same information here, like the size, but you get it in bytes, the actual breakdown of it, location, when it was created, modified, the summary, titles, subject, okay, my website, great, the author, manager, things that you want to keep track of, but not in the actual presentation itself, but just backstage to identify this. And then statistics, number of slides, paragraphs, words, ooh, that gets pretty detailed there. Total editing time, 10 minutes. Oh, that's not too bad for 4 slides. Actually, it's quite a long time for me. In any case, let's go to Contents, Fonts Used, Themes, Slide Titles, cool, Custom. Hey, you can say it was checked, select it, come down here, well, the type, let's just keep it text so I can type in who it was checked by, me, click Add. There you go, some backstage stuff in the properties, when it was checked, date completed. If I want to go ahead and type it in, or if I want to do something like click on the drop down arrow, change the field type down below to an actual date and then type it in. Or the other options is enter a number or do yes, no. So yes, it was checked or checked by. In any case, let's see what else we got. You can scroll down. Who the editor was, forward, language, mail stop. Okay, you got quite a few options there. So you can go ahead and keep track of all this backstage here. And then once you click okie dokie, it keeps it there until you come back and you select it and delete it. And then click OK. Now you get the properties there, but you also get the properties. Let's click back and close out of here and save our work. By actually hovering over the file, let me click off and hover over it again. You get a pop-up and it gives you a synopsis of the properties like the type, the author, the title, subject. You can also right-click and get more and go down the shortcut menu to Properties and click and drag it up. And doesn't that look familiar? Of course it does. The location, the size, when it was created, modified. Okay, security is a bit more detailed than what we care to cover in this training video. Details. There we go. We've got our tag, something spiffy, fancy, cool, and you can add more here. Yes, you can. Awesome. And then I use the delimiter comma, but in here they've got semicolon, so I'll use semicolon, and then it pops open, gives me another option to add another tag. And you can see a little shortcut of others that have been used. Let me just do tinsel, and then let's go ahead and categories. Just hover over it, opens it up, then type in the category, change the comments here from our website, and author if you want to add or change. Hover, and if it gives you a little box to click in it, and in this case type in a version number. In any case, there we go. And then previous versions if we have one. Let's go ahead and apply it, click okie dokie, and 3 different ways to check out the properties, and at least 2 of the 3 you can make changes therein. The Document Inspector feature allows you to scan and remove personal information like comments and hidden data. For example, I've got comments here, and we can click on it, see what kind of comments. Oh, we got a lot from Mr. Humphreys. Go ahead and close out. Also, backstage, File, Info selected by default. You've got the properties over here. Let's come down here and click on Show All Properties. Got my website, the title. Let's see, scroll down. I've got the author information. That's me. And let's go ahead and click on the drop-down arrow and go to Advanced Properties. We got a lot of information here that ties me to this presentation. Well, before I forward this on to somebody else, if I don't want to be tied to it or have anybody contact me if there's any issues with the presentation because, I don't want my name there. Now that I'm no longer giving support to this presentation, in any case, to go ahead and wipe this all out in a single click, basically, or a few clicks. I mean, you can do it this way. You can delete it and then delete it. I'm going to click cancel, and let's try it again. Properties to Advanced Properties. It's still there. Instead, let me close out. We can use the Document Inspector, which is backstage, info selected by default. Come down here and click on Check for Issues. And there you go. Inspect Document. Check the presentation for hidden properties or personal information. So it checks for it. That's fine. After it checks for it, you'll get the option to remove it. Click on it. And go ahead and check what you want to inspect it for, like any comments. We know we got comments. Document properties and personal information, content add-ins. In any case, you can read all that. Off-slide content, because you can actually move contents from off the slide over in the main working area. So if this is the slide, you can move things off of it, and it will still be there. But if you want to check it to make sure that it inspects for it, and if there are off-slide content, it'll give you the option to remove it. Let's go ahead and inspect for all of this and click Inspect. Okay, comments, it found them. Do you want to remove all of them? Hey, that's slick. I don't have to go back into the other view and remove them. I can remove them here. Document properties, personal information, like the title, website, remove all. Oh, it's all gone. Did you see that? And let's see what else. Presentation notes. Yeah, if you've got those speaker notes, remove all. And that's it. You're clean. You're good to go. Let's close out. Cool. And that's it. Now you can go ahead and email it off to somebody and not have to worry that you have anything on here. Well, except if you actually have it on the slide itself, anything that's tied to you, or that they can identify that this presentation is from you. And there we go. Comments, nothing on slide 1 or any of the other slides. There are 3 ways I want to show you how you can password protect your presentation. The first way is that nobody can open up the presentation without a password. Second way is anybody can open the presentation, but only those who have the password can actually make modifications to it. And then the third way is a combination of the first 2, where they need a password to open up the presentation. Then once it opens it up, if they don't have the second password, the best they can do is just view the presentation and can't make any changes to it. So to do it, the first and most simplistic way is just to come up here and click on the File tab, go backstage, Info select by default, come down here to Protect Presentation, and then you got Encrypt with Password. Click on it, type in a password. I'm going to type in PASS, something simple, hit Enter, type it in again. To confirm it, hit Enter, and there you go, a password is required to open this presentation. That is, let me hit back, after we save, because if we don't save our password that's been applied, well, then it's not going to require a password. Now when I close out of the presentation, and it's here on my desktop, and I double click to open it up, there you go, PASS, hit Enter, now I have access. And then to remove it, go backstage, File, Info, Protect, and deselect, and then just delete it, clear it, click Okie dokie, it's gone. That is, let me hit back, after I save it. And then of course when I close out and then I double click to open it up, no passwords required. Now you can do it that way, but what about the other ways? Like I said, a password to make modifications to it or a combination of both. Well, to do that you got to do a save as. And up here on the quick access toolbar, I added the command save as, or you can hit the F12 key on the keyboard. Let me click on it. And then in the save as window, come down to the bottom, click on tools, and go to general options, and there you go. You can type in a password to open it, or require a password to modify it, or both. Let's do just to open. So PASS, hit enter, type it in again, PASS, hit enter, and then be sure to save it to overwrite the original presentation with it now being protected with the password. Click save. Do you want to replace it? Yes, we do. So that way, well, let's come up here, click on file. You can see it's protected, that when we close out, open it back up, it requires a password, and you can remove it from, well, Backstage. Click on Protect Presentation to deselect, delete it and click OK as we did, or hit back. Click on the Save As and then change Tools to General Options and clear it here and then save it. And then click OK, OK, and then click Save to overwrite the presentation. So there's the password to open. What about a password to modify? Alrighty, PASS, let's just do it that way. Hit enter and then PASS to confirm and then save it and replace the original with that password to modify modification that we made. Close out. Double click to open it up. Okay, so if we don't have the password, the best we can do is go ahead and go to read only. So, oops, I don't have a password. Okay, I'll just view it. Click on read only. And there we go. Now, can I make any changes to it? You can see up on the title bar it's read only, so I can only read it. Can I come into here and select and move things around? And I can't make any changes. It might be a bug or a new update that Microsoft has done, because if I go Backstage and click on File, Info selected by default, and you see where it says Save As, and it says Read Only Presentation. This presentation has been opened in read-only mode. Changes cannot be made to the original. To save changes, create a new copy of the presentation. Well, how do I create a new copy? As I was able to do in previous versions of PowerPoint, like 2013, 2010, when I can't click on the Save As. So it may be an update or it could be a bug. In any case, we're stuck. So keep that in mind in case if it's something new and they just forgot to go ahead and clear that out Backstage to say, hey, you have no control. You can't create a new copy of it. Like I said in previous versions, you did have the Save As and you can make changes to it. But when you click Save, it forced you to do a Save As and you couldn't overwrite the original. Maybe there's some security concerns with Microsoft and now you just don't get to do anything with Save As. So in read only, if I want to be able to do anything, close out of it, double click to open it back up, and this time type in a password so I can get full control, hit enter, and there we go. Then I have to go, well, back up, Save As, to Tools, to General Options, and remove it. But let's also add one to open, PASS. So we have a password to open in addition with our password to modify. So let me hit enter and it says password to open. So PASS, hit enter, and then click save. Yes, replace it, close out, double click. Okay, so to even open it, I got to have a password, PASS, okay. Then it says, okay, wait a second. Now the next choice you get is if you got the second password, you can go ahead and make changes. If not, well, you can only read only. Oh, how horrifying. Well, let's go to read only. Opens it up and there you go again. Can't make any changes to it. Can't even do a save as. All right, well, let's go ahead and close out of it again and, well, you get the gist of it, right? Then we go pass to open, pass to modify, and yay! Now if I want to go back to normal because I'm done with these passwords and I want everybody to have access to it, then, well, here we go again. Save as, Tools, General Options, and just clear them out. Delete them. Click okie dokie, click save. Yes, replace it. Close out. Double click. I'm a robot. There we go. We're back to square one. When you're sending off your presentations and people are asking if this presentation is really from you, you may want to consider getting a digital signature because it will confirm the identity of the person who sent the presentation. And they're typically issued by a certification authority or CA, a trusted third party, and in it, it'll contain a serial number, digital signature of issuing authority, expiration dates, and the name and copy of the certificate holder's public key so the user can verify that the certificate is authentic. So once a signature is attached to a document, or in this case, this PowerPoint presentation, it can't be modified without first removing the digital signature, and anybody can remove it. Okay, well, what's the purpose of doing it? Well, it's not like a password protect, it's a way to verify that it's from you, that you created it, that when you send it off to the person, it's from you and it hasn't been tampered with. If it has, then you won't see that person's digital signature attached to it. And so in which case, one of two things has happened. Either they forgot to digitally sign it, or they sent it off but somebody intercepted it, made changes to it, and well, then you can't trust it. So you can go ahead and talk to the person again, call them up and say, hey, I don't see a digital signature. And they can go, oh yeah, I forgot. Then they can resend it with it. Or they may say, I did sign it, so it's probably been tampered with. I'll send you another one. And you can discard the one that doesn't have the digital signature attached to it. So to go ahead and add a digital signature to the presentation, well, first of all, come with me up here to the File tab, Backstage. Info selected by default. Click on Protect Presentation, and then down here, there you go, add a digital signature. Ensure the integrity of the presentation by adding an invisible digital signature. Well, it's not invisible. I'll show you where it's at. And look at that. You got a document with a little red ribbon, something like you get in a county fair. Hey, you're first place. Well, in this case, it's the authentication that this document is really from you, that you digitally signed it. Now, before you can go ahead and digitally sign it, you got to sign up with the certification authority, a trusted third party. And if you want to find out a few that Microsoft recommends, then, well, it's not here in PowerPoint. Let me go ahead and come down here and right-click on Word to open up the jump list to open up Microsoft Word with a left click. And the reason why I opened up Word, because I covered this in my Word training video, how to create a digital signature. And in Word, if you don't have one, there's a place you can go to that will open up Microsoft's website and show you the ones that they recommend. And that's up here on the Insert tab. Go to the text group, and there's the signature line. Click on its drop-down arrow and go to Add Signature Services. Click on it, opens up their website, and it's support.office.com. Scroll down, there you go, they have 3. Mine is from Komodo. You can go to their website and check it out, see if that works for you. Pay them a fee, and then after, they'll send you an email with the instructions and the code to install that digital ID onto your computer. Make sure that you install it on the computer. I actually got an email from them a while back, and I wanted to see how it worked. So I installed it under a different user login on the same computer, and then I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and go to the other side, and it's like, nope. It's only for this user that logged in under this specific username on this computer. I can't go to another user login and try to do it again or access it or be able to digitally sign. So follow it to the T. Make sure you're logged in as the person you are if you have multiple logins on the same computer, and then go ahead and follow the instructions there so you don't mess up and have to buy another digital ID. In any case, after you do that, you followed the instructions, let's close out of it, and you installed it on your computer, then when you come over here and click on Protect Presentation to add, click on it. There you go. Signing as issued by Komodo. That's where I got mine. Cool. If you have additional digital signatures, you can change it. And, well, I've got 2, but this one's something that I created on my own computer that Microsoft allows you to do, but that's another training video. Not here with PowerPoint, but this is the one that I'm using, and so I can just click Cancel and go with that one. And then to include information about the signer, click on Details. Hey, look, you get the title. That's me, Presidente. And then any additional information like my production place, address. I'll just click Okie dokie, leave it as such. Then the purpose for signing the document. Well, it's to let you know it's from me, that I approve of it, I created it, or actually you can do it up here, the commitment type. Click on the drop-down arrow. I created and approved this document, or I approved it. If somebody sent it to me and I say, hey, it looks good, and then send it back with the digital ID, the digital signature, or simply I created the document. So let's just go with created, and then click sign. Your signature has been successfully saved with this document. If the document is changed, your signature will become invalid. Okay, a couple things happen. First of all, signed presentation. This presentation has been signed and marked as final. We'll cover that in the next training video, but marked as final, it just means that it's trying to discourage you from editing it. You can still go ahead and unmark it as a final draft to be able to make changes to it, but if you do that, you remove the digital signature. It's very simple to do. So let me show you. Let's go ahead and hit the back arrow so I can show you. There you go, marked as final. You can still edit it anyways, so that's okay if it was intended for you. And then you can go ahead and open it up, make changes to it, then digitally sign it and send it back to the person. But if you intercepted this and you're like, I'm going to go ahead and make changes to it. Well, once you click on edit it, digital signatures removed, and then you send it off to somebody else for some nefarious purpose. If they don't see the digital signature, well, they shouldn't trust it. If they did, then not a good idea. That's the whole purpose of the digital signature. Let's go ahead and go backstage, click on File, and let's view the signatures. Click on it, opens up the task pane over to the right, and let's go ahead. You can either right-click on it and get a list of options, or click on the drop-down arrow here and get your list of options. And you can remove the signature, in which case you can edit it, or you can just click on Edit, in which case it removes it. It's your flavor. Let's go ahead and click on Signature Details, and there you go. Created this document, purpose for signing it, didn't give it any. And then you can view signing as issued by Komodo. Click on View. Oh, you get a lot of fancy information here. Certificate information issued to my email address by Komodo. You get more details, certification path. Let's click Okie dokie, keep it simple here. And then you can see the additional signing information that was collected. Click on the link. And we've got the system time, web version, office version. Holy cow, it's giving him everything. Well, let's go ahead and click Okie dokie and then see information about the signer. Well, what I typed in, president, yay, click Okie dokie, and that's it. Close out, and then of course I can close out of here. But in addition to going backstage and being able to view the signature, you can come down here on the status bar and hey, there's that little document with a ribbon. It's not red, it's white. This document contains signatures. When you click on it, it opens up the task pane again. Great. Now we can go ahead and view and see if it's something that we trust and get the details there. In which case, if we're done, let me go ahead and close out of here. If you want to edit it anyways, it's marked as final. It removes the marked as final feature and also the digital signature. And you want to watch the next training video on mark as final. It's very simplistic. You just mark it as final, which means, hey, I'm trying to discourage you from editing it. And of course, when we get it, it's intended for us. That's okay, we can edit it. But if somebody gets it along the way and says, hey, don't make changes to it because if you forward it on to the intended party that you took it from, well, they don't see it here, this marked as final. Well, if they haven't watched my training video, then they probably won't know it and trust it. But if you did, you wouldn't trust it and call up the author again and say, hey, re-sign it and send it off to me. So let's go ahead and click on Edit Anyways. Editing will remove the signature in this presentation. Do you want to continue? Yes. And signature has been removed. Document has been saved. Oh, that's it. You don't get your little digital signature document down below. You don't get the marked as final up here. Go backstage file. And no protection. Digital signature is gone. Click on Protect Presentation and you can start from scratch and add it. And then go ahead and sign it again and send it back to the other person once you made your changes if it wasn't intercepted and you're the intended party. And then when they get that, they can go ahead and click on Edit, make changes, and you can have fun digitally signing documents back and forth, knowing that when you get it, it's actually from the person who says it is from through the digital signature. The Mark as Final feature lets the users know it's a final draft and it's set as read-only, but without a password. A basic warning to the user, nothing more, so it's not accidental that they start editing but have to go out of their way to actually edit. So for example, if I'm done with this and want to go ahead and send it off to somebody, say, okay, this is the final draft, then come up here and click on the File tab, go backstage, info selected by default, click on Protect, and then go to Mark as Final. It says let readers know that the presentation is final and make it read-only. Click on it. Presentation will be marked as final and then saved. OK. The document has been marked as final to indicate that editing is complete and that this is the final version of the document. When the document is marked as final, the status property is set to final and typing, editing, commands, and proofing marks are turned off. You can recognize that a document is marked as final when the mark as final icon displays in the status bar. So, OK. Give it a second. There you go. Down below on the status bar, you get the stamp. I don't know if you can see it. It's so teeny tiny. It's got a little stamp that left its mark on the status bar. And you can see up here, also marked as final. And then when you go backstage file, this presentation has been marked as final, in any case, to discourage editing. So that way, you don't come in here and go, oh, let me go ahead and make some changes, hit the delete key, and whoops. Well, can I come up here, click on the Home tab? Oh, don't get any commands. So that way you have to go out of your way to really notice that, hey, this is the final draft. Don't start making changes. And so if you're like, no, we got to make more changes, well, that's fine. You got the option, but it's, to discourage you or to let you know that you got to go out of your way to not accept this as final by clicking on Edit Anyways. That's it. Down below in the status bar, marked as final has been removed. You can go ahead and make your changes. You get the ribbon with all the commands on it. It's no longer collapsed, but expanded. And then Backstage File Protect, marked as final, is no longer highlighted. And so you can now go ahead and make your changes, then mark it as final and send it back and say, okay, now it's final. New to PowerPoint 2016 is a screen recording feature that allows you to record your presentation, including audio. Well, that is, if you have a microphone hooked up to your computer. And for that matter, you can record anything on your screen. It doesn't have to be PowerPoint, but you have to, well, obviously go through PowerPoint to use this feature. So to screen record, come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Media Group, and there you go, Screen Recording. Hover over it. In the pop-up, it says record your computer screen and related audio before inserting the recording onto your slide. Click on it, and there you go. You get a cross that you can click and drag to select the area that you want to record. So it can be just, small little area right here. And if you're like, oops, didn't mean to do that. Well, we haven't begun recording yet, so that's okay. Just come up here, click on Select Area again, and it clears off your selection. You can restart and reselect, like, let's do the entire screen. So just keep dragging until you get close to the borders and it'll snap to the entire window. There you go. Snapped. It's got the entire screen on this monitor selected. And then you can come up here and click on Record. Of course, you got all these shortcut keys. The Windows logo key plus Shift plus R if you want to begin recording instead of clicking on the record here. Or to stop it, you can use the shortcut keys or click on Stop or Select. You can include audio. If not, then go ahead and deselect it. And then record the pointer. If you want the pointer in it, then, well, leave it selected. So when you're ready, go ahead and click on Record. If you want to keep this up during the recording, pin it. And so when I click on Record, well, gives you the option, counts it down, and gives you a little pop-up. Now it's recording. So if I go ahead during the recording, I say collapse it, and then I click off, well, you can see it disappears until I come up to the top of my screen and tap it. Then I can go ahead and stop it. Now, you may not want that in the recording, or it's okay if you do. Just towards the end, leave yourself enough time to cut that part off, if you don't want to be seen coming up here and tapping that. In any case, go ahead and say, click here, do this, do that. Hey, I'm a professional trainer now. Cool. Then when you're done, use the shortcut keys or come up here and tap it, and then click on Stop, and it inserts it on the slide. Well, the first slide here, it looks grainy, but it'll look good let's begin our presentation here. Click on Slideshow. And there we go. Let's go ahead and come down here and click on the play bar. And it gives you a little pop-up. Now it's recording. So if I go ahead during the recording, I say collapse. Jump around here. I don't want to be seen coming up here and tapping that. See, I'm just jumping and we get to the end. You can hear me. Hey, I'm a professional trainer. And it gives you a little pop-up. Now it's recording. So if I go ahead. In any case, I'm starting over again. It's looping. Let me hit the escape key and go back. So hey, cool. I now have a recorded screen here. That's included in my presentation. So if I want to record, like maybe going to a website, how to navigate around this website, maybe it's a product saying, okay, this is where you go to purchase my products, and this is where you go to download and how you download it and extract it. Could be very informative. And then that way, if you go to a place that doesn't have great internet connection, well, do a pre-recorded screencast here and you got it inserted, you're good to go. And in addition to that, if you want it as an actual movie file, like an MP4, go ahead and right-click on it, and you can save the media as, click on it. Let me drag this down here. So onto my desktop, type in a name. Of course, everything we do here at Dreamforce is spiffy. So it's going to be my spiffy media file, MP4, and then click on Save. All right, let's take a gander. Let's go ahead and minimize this down to the taskbar. There's my screen recording MP4, double click, and gives you a little pop-up. Now it's recording. So if I go ahead during the recording, I say collapse it. Let's go ahead and close out of that. Cool. And let's come back down here to the status bar, restore the window, and of course you got your right-click options to trim it, or, well, you can come back up here instead of in the shortcut menu here, the options, as we covered in an earlier training video, to format the video or for the playback options, including if you want it to fade in, not have it abruptly start playing, and going right to the audio, fade out, add a bookmark, you want to go ahead and watch that training video on video and also audio if you're going to be just using audio and not video. New to PowerPoint 2016 is the closed caption feature. It allows you to add display text into your videos. So for those who are hearing impaired, they can read as they go along watching your video, or maybe for those who want to learn a different language like English, since my training videos are in English, I could have the English text down below as they hear my voice and read the text as they're watching the video. And so to be able to insert this text for closed captioning to display my video, well, I got my video. As you recall in the previous training video, we did a screen recording. So with it selected, come up here and click on its related contextual playback tab. And there you go, insert captions. And you can see when I hover over it, it says you got to insert a WebVTT file. Well, it doesn't say that, but that's what it is. A video text track file. Now, if you don't know what that is, you can search it on the internet. Basically, you can create it yourself if you'd like, although it's very time consuming. And so what some people do is they upload their videos to a company where it's like $1 a minute for some of them. And they go ahead and they type up all the text that's in your video. And then they give you the text, in which case you still need it in a VTT format. Let me show you what that looks like in case if you want to do it yourself or if you want to outsource. Let me minimize this down to the taskbar. And it's right there, .vtt. Now, if you can't see it on your computer, if you do have it on your computer, the extension, well, it's because Windows by default doesn't like to show extensions, because if you mess with those, in this case the VTT, you can change it so the operating system doesn't know what program to open up this file in. In any case, you can watch my Windows training video on extensions if you want to be able to see them or hide them, or if you come across a problem where you're trying to open up a file and it doesn't open up in the right program, you can watch that. Again, it's my Windows extensions training video. So there it is. If you want to see what it looks like, it's very simplistic. Let me go ahead and open up Notepad. Come down here, click on the Start button, and go to Notepad. And well, it's off the screen, but that's okay. I can just go ahead and click and drag that into Notepad, and let me put that up at the top, and there you go. So if you want to create this yourself, up at the top I start with WebVTT, kind, and it's captions, language, EN for English. And if there's something else, an acronym for like Spanish, well, go ahead and type it in if you know it. And then down below you got the timer from 0 to 12 seconds. We're going to have this text. And then from, well, just after 12, 13.050 to 20 seconds, essentially. And then I got the text that will be displayed. So, again, you can just go ahead and take this file if you purchase my training video, and that comes with the exercises, and go ahead and make it your own here in Notepad. And then when you're done, be sure to save it. Or, like I said, you can upload it. You can find a company, upload it to them, and let them go ahead and get the text and put it at the right times throughout the video. But essentially, that's what you're looking at. It's a lot of work, and so I don't do it with my videos. But maybe there's newer technology out that makes it easier. But that's what we're looking at here, and that's what PowerPoint's looking at. Let me close out of it. Is a .vtt file. It'd be great for a company to be able to take our video, upload it, capture all the text, be able to put it with the right timings in it in a VTT file. And all I have to do is come down here, restore PowerPoint, select my video here, and then come up here on the related contextual playback tab, click on the insert captions drop down arrow and insert, find my, there you go, WebVTT video text tracks, and it's right there. Double click, and that's it. Just come down here on the video playback bar, click on this little newly added icon to show hide audio and subtitles, click on it, and if off is checked, well, insert captions is on, but if off is checked, and click on it, you can see it's checked, then click on insert captions. So when I go to the slideshow and I play it, click on it, and let's go ahead and come down here and click on play. It gives you a little pop-up. Now it's recording. And there you go. If I go ahead during the recording, I say collapse it. What I'm saying here doesn't match the text down below. In any case, that would take a long time to type all this in, because I do a lot of chattering here. And then it moves on to the next one from that point forward. And then when that's done, it disappears. Let me hit the escape key a couple of times. And there you go. And if you're like, oh, I don't want that playing, you can turn it off, of course. And it won't show up during the presentation. Also in the preview, it won't show it here. You can display it here as well if you want to see it. And play it, and then it pops up. Of course, this guy's in the way here. I say collapse it, and then I click off. Well, you can see it disappears until I come up to the top of my screen and tap it. In any case, let's go ahead and turn it off, pause it, and then to remove it, well, just come up here, click on the playback tab. And if you don't have the playback tab, make sure you got your video selected, and then click on the drop down arrow to remove all captions, and that little block there disappears, so you can no longer choose to have them inserted. Now, if you need to insert equations into your presentation, well, you can write them, and you can do it literally with the new to Office 2016 Inc equation, but I'll show you how you can insert them or write them, both. And if you have a touch screen, obviously you can do it with your finger or a stylus. Here, I'll use my mouse. So first off, to insert an equation, come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Symbols group, and then click on the Equation drop-down arrow. You got all these built-in equations like the area of a circle, a equals pi r squared. Click on it, you get this teeny tiny little equation. Well, let's go ahead and triple click inside of it so we can select everything and then get the mini formatting toolbar. Change it from size 18 to, let's do size 66. And then hover and click and drag the border down there, and there you go. And then you get the related contextual design tab and format tab. Format tab we covered pretty extensively in earlier training videos on objects, shapes, pictures, and text boxes, because basically this is a text box. So you can go ahead and format the shape style and the contents therein, the text, the word art. Like I said, you can watch the previous training videos on the text box and formatting text boxes and shapes. So we'll jump right to the design tab. And with it selected, you can click in here and be able to add additional things. Like if you want to add a fraction, click on the drop down arrow, and that's a stacked fraction, so it adds it before wherever the cursor's at. And then we can click and drag that up. You can go ahead and select the box and type in something, well, P minus MQ. I know, I'm writing my own theory here. And then down below, and then you can say, well, it's divided by 2. So that's how you can go ahead and build it. Well, not from scratch, but using one of the pre-built equations there. And then when you're done, just click off, and hey, there you go. And then the related contextual tabs disappeared. To bring it back up, click inside, and then you got the design tab, and then you can redesign it. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag it over. Well, let's delete that and let's do it from scratch. Come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Symbols group, click on Equation drop-down arrow, and even though it says Insert New Equation, it's got nothing to insert it into. So if you want to go ahead and create a text box, that'll work. Up here on the Insert tab, go to the Text group, click on Text Box. You get this little sword on guard, and we can go ahead and click and drag a box about yay big, and then we can come up here on the Insert tab, go to the Symbols group, click the Equation drop-down arrow, and then you can insert a new equation. Click on that, and there we go. We get the Related Contextual Design tab, and you can either start typing, but if you start typing like A and then equals, oh, great. Okay, that's tiny, so let's go ahead and triple click to select it. And let's go up to something bigger, well, 54. And then when you start typing, when I click at the end of it, because I want to type in something more, the Related Contextual Design tab disappears. Well, that's horrifying. So what I can do is delete it, and then click on the A, and then notice when I click on the A, it brings up the Related Contextual Design tab, but the cursor, I don't know if you can see this, but it's flashing within the highlighted A on the right-hand side, as opposed if I go over here on the left-hand side. So it's very subtle, but if you're not watching where that cursor's at, and you come up here, and you click equals, well, okay, it's on the other side. We don't want that. Hit undo. So we got to come over here. You can use the arrow keys on the keyboard and go to the other side of the highlighted A and go ahead and hit equals. That way you keep within the highlight here, because if you click on the outside of it, you don't get the Related Contextual Design tab, so you can't finish writing the equation. So go ahead and click on the equation so it highlights it to bring up its Related Design tab, and then within the highlight, just work within it, okay? Don't go outside, otherwise you'll lose it. Literally, the Design tab. And so it equals, and then of course you can do your fraction, and A equals a fraction, and maybe we'll keep it simple, 1/4, and then maybe we'll have something like, let's see, more, plus. That's still within the fractions, so if I don't want to do that, I want to undo that and go to the outside, then I have to hit the right arrow key, so I'm no longer in the bottom denominator there, and then just on the right hand side, and then I can go ahead and click on more and plus, and there we go. Continue on writing it. So it's very subtle, But you got to keep an eye where that cursor is at. Make sure it's within the box here, and if it's at the bottom or at the top, or hit the right arrow key a couple of times so it's over on the right hand side and be able to navigate. Now you can do it that way, or let me go ahead and click on the text box, hit the delete key, come back up here, click on insert, go to symbols, click on the equation drop down arrow, and go to ink equation, new to Office 2016, click on it, and it'll open up and it says, hey, write your math here. All right, let's see, 1/2, 2. Give it a second. It was a Y, but then it figured out, okay, there's something below it and a slash, so 1/2 minus 1/4 equals something tricky. 1/4. Okay, converted it pretty well. Great. I can erase it, select and correct, click on it, and then select it, and then change it. Oh, is it a fraction? Is it left parentheses? Oh, forget it. Let me click off. I'll leave it as such and not correct it. And then go ahead and click on Insert. And there we go. We just have to triple click. Mini formatting toolbar. Make it big and very nice. Now you can do it in here, but the option that you don't get in PowerPoint, because like I said, PowerPoint's trying to be the jack of all trades. It's not a complete Excel program where you can do, well, charts at the depth or the level that Excel can. So as you recall, up here on the Insert tab to the Symbols group, when you want to work with an equation, pre-built, insert, or ink, right? Okay, let's go ahead and open up Microsoft Word. Come down here, right-click. In the jump list, go to Word. And then up here, you also have at Microsoft Word, Insert, come over here to Symbols, click on Equation, and look-see, you can go ahead and get more equations from Office.com. Ooh, that's pretty crazy. And you can also save selection to Equation Gallery. So where you don't get that in PowerPoint, you can save it here and keep track of it. That way when you insert it, you'll scroll down to the bottom and it'll be down at the bottom in the gallery here for you to choose. Then you can insert it here. In fact, once it's inserted, let me show you. Like this is an example. Click to insert it. You can click on the tag and Control-C to copy it. And let's go back to PowerPoint and see if we can paste it. Let me delete that. And Control-V as in Victor to paste it. And there you go. So if you worked really hard on an equation and you want to keep it, well, create it in Microsoft Word and then save it. And then you can always insert it from Word and copy and paste it over here. And that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel or rebuild the equation again, as it were, and keep track and save all your equations in Microsoft Word. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.